everyone, checking in on the crypto space, doing a weekend public video here because we haven't in a while and we were patiently waiting for some short-term action. And we finally got it last night with some short-term bear breaks, so we'll update where everything is at. Hope everyone's staying safe out there and occupying themselves during this quarantine time. And it's a good time to be learning, trading, and practicing and studying up. So with that being said, we figured it's a good time to give away some courses. So we'll give away 2 courses. Just comment on this video on YouTube, and we will pick 2 random people. And if you're a Chart Guys member, just comment on this video and you can have the free crypto course, or the crypto course for free. So looking at Bitcoin, we did reject from 7,000. We have a top of 69.90. This level differs depending on which exchange you're looking at. But either way, some names did break to a higher high. We can see that Coinbase here did not by $7. Some names did, but the higher high was by less than 1%. And we didn't get over the 7,000 psychological round number. So we rejected from that level. We then traded sideways. And it was a battle between the 4-hour exponential support and the 7,000 resistance. And we held that for a short period of time. We gave it one more little attempt, failed, and then you're a little bear flag right there, and then the all-out dump very clearly. So after that dump took place, we took out all the stop losses that were set from the past couple of days based off support, and we then played the zoom out game. So just a refresher, what's the zoom out game? So the zoom out game is when you dump and the smaller time frames struggle at the exponential resistances. Then you get over the exponential resistances and you zoom out and you do it all over again. And that shows you that the bears have short-term control. So an example of that on the 5-minute time frame, here's our dump, 6,200 held again, rejection, 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 drop to a lower low, and then we finally start to get over it. So as soon as we start to get over it, we zoom out to the 15-minute. And okay, what's the 15-minute exponential resistance doing? Rejection, rejection, rejection. We finally get over it. Zoom out to the hourly. Look at the hourly exponential resistance. Now we're rejecting from it. So as far as places to take profit for short-term bulls or places to enter bearish for short-term bears, these exponential moving averages are great. They're great visual guides. So we will likely see the bulls eventually get over these exponential resistances on the hourly, and then we'll zoom out to the 4-hour and we'll do it all over again. On this bounce, we're just looking for a 4-hour lower high. Is this a 4-hour bear flag? I would say it's just at its limit of where it could possibly be a bear flag. And one thing that I do to gauge that is I look at the drop. So 67 down to 6,000, we'll call it a $650 drop. So I want to know what's the size of the bounce. I know the midway point is about 6,420, and we have not gotten to the midway point. As soon as you get to a 50% retracement, the bear flag's out the window for me. But if you get to a 33% to a 40% retracement, then it's still alive. And I go over that a little bit more on the educational video on our website for members to access. And that video is called, let's see, there's 2. One of them is called Bear Flag or Bounce, and the other one is called Dan's Trading Strategy, February 2019. Both going over similar kinds of setups in that regard. So we're going to be watching for a 4-hour to lower high to be set on this bounce. And right now we're watching the hourly uptrend. We had a little higher low in continuation. The bulls are attempting another higher low now. When we lose the hourly uptrend, our 4-hour lower high will be set, and it will be up to the bulls to then hold $6,070. But the bigger picture, and I'm staying on longer term time frames personally, we've got this double top at 7,000. We have our daily higher low at 5,678. That is the most important support level for me, because if that level holds, the daily uptrend remains intact. And yes, the bulls would have preferred to break 7,000 right out of the gate. It still keeps it alive right now, as long as the daily higher lows are intact. When we lose the daily higher lows, that's our weekly lower high being set. And right now it's more like inside bars, not a clear bounce for a weekly lower high for me, but the daily uptrend is the most important factor for the next few days as to whether or not it can be maintained or not. Dominance chart for Bitcoin had a significant move higher on the way up, and now it's pulling back a bit, but we're just looking for a daily higher low to form. Looking at this dominance chart, I'm expecting it to top out fairly soon, keeping an eye out for it, and it'll be a loss of the daily uptrend that indicates that the altcoins are regaining some of their strength. And why I'm looking for a lower high is look at these longer term time frames. Let's go to the 2-week chart. So 2-week chart, anything under 70.90 is just a lower high. At this point, we have seen a fairly significant bounce, 10% bounce on this chart, but it's still clearly in a downtrend. So a loss of the daily uptrend would indicate that lower high has been set, and at this point we would need to see a higher low, fail to break the high, and then drop down to a lower low if we're going to see momentum shift from the Bitcoin bulls holding stronger to the altcoins. And the difference is, over the past 2 months, what's the difference? The bull breaks previously were on cryptocurrency sector pulling back and the altcoins pulling back more than Bitcoin. This most recent run-up was on the crypto space going up and Bitcoin going up faster than the altcoins. And that was when money started to come back into the crypto space after everybody bailed on assets across the board. They started to jump back in. And it was notable for me that the marijuana sector and stocks, the highest risk sector, and Bitcoin started to see that money inflow before blue chips or any other stocks. But it was that inflow back into Bitcoin over altcoins as a bit more confidence. The bulls had more confidence in Bitcoin getting back in. And now on this last little 3-day drop, that's the bear break. So that's showing us that Bitcoin's pulling back a little bit more than the altcoins on that 7,000 double top rejection and pullback. So we're continuing to watch the daily uptrend on both Bitcoin and the dominance chart. Let's check in real quick on some Trader Pro alerts and the ones that have been working recently and look to what can help us with our trade. So we've talked many times about different market cycles, where in one market cycle, a signal can work really well for a certain period of time, and then it stops, and we have to find the next signal that works well. So whether it's a big bull move, and then we look for 5-minute oversold conditions for a good trading opportunity for the first 1 or 2 times, and then once it hits it for the 3rd or 4th time, that signal diminishes, and we are then in a different cycle at that point, and we have to find a more useful signal. So again, the use of the Trader Pro system is allowing you to go back in time and look and see, okay, what has been working? Can I jump on that short-term trend and capitalize on it while it's still present, and then recognize when it shifts, and then look for the next time frame and the next signal. So we're going to be looking now at a couple coins, looking back at the last 4 or 5 days for 30-minute and 60-minute super stack signals that indicate short-term overbought conditions. And they're useful whether it's for entering bearish positions, once they fire off, starting to scale in, or looking to lock in profit. And it's the kind of thing where, let's say I have conviction on the daily time frame, and I'm looking for, I have a daily position that I want to hold for multiple days, but I want to maneuver around with it, and I keep half the position, and I'm agile with half the position to flip it and to lower my cost basis. So let's say I flip half when we hit hourly super stack conditions, and then I rebuy it after we consolidate. So we can see here on Bitcoin, hourly time frame, it fired off 1, 2, 3 times, and every time was met by at least 2 to 4 to 6 hours of consolidation, pretty much telling us when we need to top out and set a higher low. And looking at, this is ETH, the 30-minute signals. So again, letting us know when short-term consolidation is coming. This is LTC on the 30-minute, same thing. Triggering overbought conditions that short-term consolidation for a few hours is coming. And here is another Bitcoin on the half hour. So you can see it's a great guide for short-term trading in this instance, because that's the time frame, that's the market cycle that we're in right now. Obviously, now that we pulled back on Bitcoin and rejected from 7,000, we're not going to be getting overbought super stack alerts letting us know that we're in overextended conditions. We're now going to be flipping and looking at what kind of oversold conditions are we getting to indicate short-term bounces. So again, it's all dependent on the market cycle as to what we're going to be using, but the fact that we're allowed to, or we're able to go back and look at previous action and back test how the alerts have been firing off is very useful. So traderpro.com, free week trial. Now's a good time to give it a shot if you're home and looking for things to do. Back to the technical analysis. So ETH is doing the same thing as far as rejecting from resistance. 154 was the top. We rejected at 144. And now the must hold daily higher low is 119.20. And at this point, it is an equilibrium forming. So it's all within this one candle still at this point. But we're calling that a high, low, lower high, and we're looking for a higher low. Let's see if the 12-hour time frame has a little bit more clarity. And it does, just as far as an equilibrium goes. Although I don't like that makes it a little confusing. That the lower highs are very clear, but we did have a support level there that broke. So let's keep it simple. Stick to the daily time frame. Bulls must hold 119.20 to keep the daily higher lows intact. ETH is struggling with this daily exponential resistance. We're talking about the zoom out game, 5, 15-minute hourly. Well, here it is on the daily that the bulls have been unable to get over since that dump. And we're watching for weekly inside bars, which will form here in one more day. And then we're likely going to get a break this coming week and see a volume and volatility spike when these weekly inside bars break. ETH BTC, daily time frame is a potential bear flag, and BTC has been gaining on ETH pretty consistently over the last month plus, and that's not changing anytime soon as long as we're in a clear daily downtrend. LTC, same thing, tightening up. Bulls must hold 34.51 for the higher low, and our lower highs of resistance are 43.97 and 41.21. So nice and simple, just a tightening range over the last week and a half. And if we form higher lows, we can stay in this tightening range for another few days. Binance, high of 1365, daily higher low is 1084, lower high of resistance is 1219, and the bulls must hold 1084 to find that higher low. XRP, bull break with no follow through. So it's important to note that bull break, but it's also important to know that if the crypto sector is not going to follow along, you're not going to get much follow through. And this is the kind of scenario where if I'm tunnel focused on XRP and I see that bull break and I act on it, but I'm not paying attention to Bitcoin or the other coins, then it's going to be a brutal fake out and I'm not going to see it coming. But if I look at all the other coins and say, no one else is breaking while XRP is either giving us an early indication, but it's also the potential that we're not going to get any follow through if none of these coins break bullish as well. So that can help us stay a little bit cautious and be a little bit less aggressive. You know, if XRP breaks first and then an hour later Bitcoin breaks, I have way more confidence in the XRP bulls than I would in this current scenario where we didn't get a bull break on Bitcoin. But what it did do is give the bulls more space. Anything above 14.5 is a higher low here. We did break resistance, and a big difference is the weekly inside bar broke bullish. That being said, if this bull break occurs and we have no follow through, it is a possible weekly bear flag. So we have to be cautious of weekly bear flags on all of the cryptocurrency names. And if we lose the daily higher lows, the odds of a weekly bear flag forming will increase fairly significantly. Link USD, we hit the high, low of the pullback, lower high. Again, the exponential resistance rejecting the price. The bulls must hold 194 support to stay with a daily higher low pattern. If that breaks, we're looking right back down at the dump low of 151. The bulls have not proven anything on this bounce on a lot of these coins on the daily time frame. Just cooling off RSI, and again, possibility of bear flags. Let's just look at different time frames. This is the 3-day chart. Let's go to the 4-day. That looks like a bear flag. It's a tightening range. It's mostly inside bars. Generally, a bear flag will have an upward slope, but what it's telling us is the bounce is not getting significant follow through just yet. XTZ USD, same scenario. Higher low of 145, lower high of 179, and the bulls are trying to hold a higher low on this daily chart to prevent from heading back down towards our dump lows. BCH USD is the same thing. So everybody's doing the same thing here. 198.27 is support, and resistance is 236.09 for our lower high. And BSV, daily higher low, 153, still holding, but we're right there. We came $1 away from breaking it. So high, higher low, failed to break resistance, and on the verge of breaking support. And the weekly time frame, again, bear flags are out there. So have to be a bit cautious as bulls. And we are patiently waiting for these tightening daily ranges to break sometime in the next 2 to 3 days. At most, I would say. And then we're waiting to see how the weekly inside bars break as well. So hope you have a good weekend. Again, a couple comments to give away some randomized free courses. Check out traderpro.com, TRADRPRO. Might as well spell it out. And we'll see you in the near term. Have a good weekend. You ever had a bear step on your radish sprouts? These big paw prints are from a bear who came and checked out all the bird feeders. Unfortunately, my wild cam wasn't set up yet, but those are all ready to go now, so we'll see if he comes back. He was interested in the bird feeder, and I left this open, so I won't be doing that again. Some beet sprouts are coming up. They took a while to germinate. Really excited for these sugar snap peas. They're one of my favorite spring snacks. They're one of the first things that's ready in the garden, along with radishes. And it's just something great to have while you're working in the garden, to go grab a couple handfuls, and very juicy and sweet and hydrating. So this is from the fall garden that I just kind of gave up on because I was traveling, and some nights it got down into the teens at night and they stayed just fine. So these are arugula that are now bolting and going to flower. So I figured I'll let them do their things for some pollinators. And this kale has just survived in a big way. So definitely going to do a better job with a fall and winter garden in the greenhouse this coming year. But this obviously shows me that these plants can do just fine in this climate. And there's a whole bunch more chickweed. Again, didn't plant it. It just knows right where to go. All my rows of lettuce are coming up. Definitely seeded them thickly, which means I will have to thin them out once they get a little bit bigger. And planted a whole bunch of some of these foreign plants. All kinds of weird spinach and lettuce from around the world. Should be cool to see them grow. Raspberry plant starting to put all its new growth out from its base.